we're back, and we are moving into our final conversation for today, and we're gonna find out how you can help to save the manatees. And if we're talking about manatees, of course, that means we have Jamaal Galvez with us from Sea to Shore Alliance. And good morning. Thank you for being here.
Morning. Thank you for having me as well.
Jamaal, before we talk about fundraising, we have to talk about how things have been going in your own conservation work so far. I recently saw some images of another dead manatee that was found.
Correct.
How are we faring off so far for the year?
The issue is still the same. Leading off from last year, we're already at 4 for this year. The year has already started.
Wow.
Compared to how many last year?
Compared to
This time?
48 last year total.
And compared to what it was last year this time?
Last year was very sporadically, like it wasn't, you'd get a dead manatee today and then you don't get another one for a month. But it's concerning in the sense that we've had January, just halfway through February, and we already have 4. That's not a good sign. So we continue to lobby, continue to bring awareness and try to address the issue.
And all 4 are due to encroachments with boats?
2.
2.
2 of the 4 is for sure encroachment with boats. The other ones are undetermined due to decomposition state, so you don't know exactly.
We know you got some funding to put up some of the signs that you needed to put the no-wake zone. How effective have you seen that?
It is in the sense that it's harder for a tour boat to pass by a sign that says go slow, fast, with passengers on board. I believe the passengers will become concerned. We've extended our efforts to try and get the attention of tourists as well. We installed banners in the tourist village, the do's and don'ts, to be a best manatee tour guide and tourists, what are the do's and don'ts. So when the cruise passengers actually get on the boat, they can see the sign that says, I shouldn't feed manatee, I should respect the zones, So it brings pressure on the tour operators to actually abide to these regulations as well.
In terms of technology, though, I'm sitting here thinking that the fight to protect the manatees is a really difficult one. Because you cannot be omnipresent.
Everywhere.
There's nowhere you can be everywhere. And it's right where you're not
Correct.
that they're most at risk. But I'm asking about technology. I mean, the signs are one thing. With all due respect, though, the signs seem very 1920s.
Correct. I totally agree.
What about technology in terms of maybe setting up, on the highway, I see the government put up a very good technological tool where as you're driving up, going, I think, mile 40.
Oh, the speed sign.
The speed sign. So when you're going and you see the sign, I'm actually at 56 miles and I should be at 55, you actually slow down. Is there any move to incorporate technology, even to have a motion sensor? If you're passing there a little bit too fast, it goes off and a siren comes on and tourists say, hey, dude.
Correct. We've thought those through, but everything becomes complicated when it's in the environment, especially on the waterways. You got to think about energy source, one. We've thought about putting in cameras to surveil the boating activities. That is still something in the pipeline that we hope to get accomplished, and we've spoken to different people to see how we can actually make it happen, whether it's a solar energized camera, and then it takes into consideration memory. A lot of stuff a lot of little stuff, but that have been making it slow. We've also actually tested camera traps that are used for animals.
Yes.
To see when boats go by, to see if it will trigger it. But those things have limitation in the sense of how close you had to be within a certain proximity distance for it to trigger.
Yeah.
And we've tested it. It worked in some areas. We're hoping to do more, hoping to have it out there. I think with surveillance, people are definitely going to change their behavior. So that is the next step forward in regards to the technology and how we've done in the past. And currently we are doing our tagging manatees, so we actually catch wild manatees, put satellite tags on them to see where they go, places they hang out the most. And to get a better understanding of these animals' behavior, their movement patterns, preference of habitat, and how they actually come in contact with human activities and how our humans and manatees are in conflict. And that way we can actually address the issues that they are actually coming across.
What have you learned so far with the movement of the manatees?
Manatees move really far. For instance, they had a manatee that we caught a couple years ago off Belize City. Went to Gill Sprint Manatee, and then went to Chetamal. We never knew that they go that far. Manatees don't need passport or visa. But it's usually the males. Correct. It's usually the males traveling looking for females that are in Esteros.
Oh.
That's the story of everybody's life.
I know, right? Man always the chase, And the thing is that Mexicans we have a partnership with Mexico, and they would have manatees that they tag that would come to Belize. And one time the guy called, he said, Jamaal, he said, my manatee's in Belize. I said, how do you know it's your manatee? He says, oh, I caught it in Belize, in Mexico. I said, well, it went to Mexico for vacation, you caught it Mexico. We can't really argue whose it is. If it's over there, it's Mexican. If it's over here, it's Belizean. But if it's over Guatemala, then it's Belizean too.
So they actually travel to find a mate.
Correct. Usually the males, and interestingly, we've caught a female named Morgan, because they all have names. So this year we're offering adoption. So so far we've had BFC, BTB, Santander, BEL, and Digi. Digi seemed to have gotten the manatee fever in the sense that they didn't want adopt one, they wanted to adopt two.
Oh wow!
I guess they're expecting a Digi baby or something, which we're hoping for. We're hoping that we had the population to increase and stuff like that.
But how do you adopt a manatee?
So this adoption now, you're actually contributing to measures that prevent these animals from actually going into rehabilitation or prevent these animals from being injured, whether it being signed, whether it being patrols, whether it being invested in surveillance equipment. And they'll be able to follow their manatees because they have a satellite tags. They'll be able to say, you know what, my Digi baby is in Placenza right now, or it's in Belize. And they'll get a chance to come out and actually see it in the wild, to understand these animals. And I think it will bring a different level of awareness from corporate business, and we're hoping that we get more corporate involvement in these efforts.
That's a pretty cool corporate sponsorship idea, yeah. And so you're open to, so when you find a manatee and you tag it, you can offer that for corporate sponsorship.
Correct.
So they pay a certain price and then...
Correct. And so far we've actually caught 186 manatees since 1996. And we know this because each animal that we've caught have a pit tag in their shoulder. So you can look at the manatee and say, oh, here's Jim. I don't know who is who unless they have a specific scar. Yeah. But with the pit tag, I can scan it and say, oh, I know this manatee. We've caught it 5 different times. Like for instance, Morgan was the calf of a mother that we caught named Maureen. And we followed Morgan for 7 years, and Morgan had never had a baby, never left Gills Point. And those are interesting things that we've seen. We've caught Maureen after we caught Morgan, and her mother had another baby. She still didn't have one. So you get a lot of information from this from tracking these animals.
Morgan is a millennial. She's opting out.
Yeah, she just seems to be doing her own thing.
That's the trend these days, people.
Everybody I always say, people have different personality and different behavior. Even manatees do, you know.
I love talking to you about manatees because I really feel like they're real people out there. No, and I think going back to why it's important. Belize still possesses the largest population, as far as we know, of the Antillean manatees, which means nowhere else in the world can say that. But which we will reconfirm later this year. We've gotten a grant through our fund. We're going to be doing aerial surveys. So we're flying an aircraft across Belize, counting manatees to see what the population is presently. And the last time it was at 1,000 when you did a count.
Last time it was close to 1,000, and we're hoping that they have increased to show that our conservation methods have been productive, and also to see new areas of concern. Perhaps there's a manatee settlement in Hopkins and we haven't recognized it and it's a threat. Yeah. To get a better understanding of the population on a whole, and it will reflect what's happening globally as well.
Jamaal, we have heard so much about, especially from you, I think you've really done a great job of championing this cause. Yeah. But do you find that people buy into it? Do you think they care that manatees exist or don't exist?
I honestly do think so. Over the years, because I've been around it for a long time, I've seen it transition, that manatees have become like a focal species in Belize. You talk about Belize, you see manatee. You Google Belize, black manatee, and come out somewhere in that. So it has become a concern in the sense that even government ministers are making mention of it. It's in cabinet conversations, and we're hoping to get it in higher conversations as well. But it's always the small people, the people in the bottom, the people in the local individuals that are causing issues. So we're hoping to continue to reach more people, and the people that we've come across, I genuinely feel that they're sincere. It's encouraging when you meet people in the public places and they're like, oh man, I saw one on the TV there, and I really felt bad about it. What can we do? How can we be a part of stuff? And
what is the relationship like? And that was my concern too, in terms of where average Belizean is, because I know how Belizeans are. Some of us, we're like, for the people on the ground, it's like the issue with the higiti. Like, man, they worry about higiti. I hungry Sunday, and that has been a tradition of mine. And there seems to be a lot of times a focus on other things like economics. So I don't have no time for the worry about manatee. I late for the drop off back to the cruise ship. what is the relationship like with the larger constituents, like for example the fishermen and the tour guides, and what efforts are being made to get those people? Because me, for example, the likelihood that I'm going to put the Manatee at risk is zero, sir. I can guarantee you that. I don't have a boat.
I was gonna say.
I don't have a boat, and I'm not going out on one of those areas. But the people who actually have an interaction, an exposure to them, what is the relationship with those people?
I think we have a really good relationship, and particularly our efforts are geared specifically to people that may come across Manatees. We do cater for the larger audience, but our efforts are mainly for tour operators.
I know.
That's like,
I know.
This is perhaps your best pitch video ever. How can you not care about that face? And then it flaps its little
I know,
paw.
right?
I don't know what you call it. What do you, fin? Is it?
Yeah, it's flipper.
It's flipper.
Teddy bears have nothing on this
cute.
animal.
And it's funny, like their flipper, if you look at it from an X-ray version, it literally looks like a human being hand. You can see the fingers. Yeah, correct. Yeah, and the relationship with those guys, I think is good. These are the guys that actually often report incidents. They're the ones that see things out there. They see nets in the waterways. They'll call it in. If they see a manatee, they'll send a video. "Hey, we saw manatees today." They see a dead manatee, they're concerned. I don't think that nobody intentionally hit a manatee because you damage your boat, one. And I think it's you get a really bad feeling. I've met guys that hit manatee before that call and say, "No, I hit a manatee," and the guy was literally like shaking because just a feeling knowing that you've killed something. I don't know, like to me, I felt that he was sincerely care about it.
Yeah, if he calls it in.
And I always encourage people call it in. There's not a penalty for hitting a manatee with a boat, but you give us a chance to do something about it. But if you leave it out there to bleed out, it doesn't help the situation at all.
How far do they travel if they're hit? And like a dog, I can only make these contextual analysis to understand.
Correct. They're likely going to go to the closest quiet area where they're going to try and recuperate. An area where there's like perhaps a canal. That's why oftentimes when these animals are injured, you'll find them in these canals in Bella Vista or
really
these
shallow
these quiet areas where they can just be away and they hope to recuperate, and eventually they die because they spend most of their time there trying to recuperate and they don't go to eat. And they don't do anything. So normally it's the stress of not having food and then the injury would make them die. But I mean, manatees are resilient. We've seen them survive some serious impacts, but we're trying to avoid it at all risk now.
Yeah, and one of the things you've quoted to us before is the cost of getting a manatee rehabilitated at your center in Sarteneja, right?
Correct.
I wanted to go back though, because you mentioned something. You mentioned the nets, and I have to be fair. We had some fishermen on who vehemently disagree with the concept of manatee being affected by gill nets, and I want you to respond to that. But also, where is the conservation of manatee potentially hindering another person's industry, whether it is, as Kevin says, the tour guide rushing back or a fisherman who has to go out? Where are you seeing the greatest conflicts? Let's start with that gill net answer first.
The gill net answer is that definitely nets is an issue for manatees. Manatees are currently endangered because of poaching activities. That's the reason why they are first endangered. Poaching. People used to hunt and kill manatees.
The babies.
Any one of them. I mean, the methods of catching manatees is nets. You can't go there catch a manatee with a fishing line or just think you will harpoon it just so that, because you just know that easy. When you set a net out there, manatees are considered legally blind. They hang out in murky water. You put a net in there. A manatee, a fish, anything. If you're swimming in a murky water and you come in contact with a gill net, you're going to get entangled in a gill net. That's just the way it works. There's no sustainable measures you could do to fix that.
Have you had documented cases of manatees being caught?
We've had cases where, a couple of years ago, we had a guy that was selling manatee in St. Bite that was caught in a gill net. And he actually came out and said, we actually went to buy meat from him, and he came with the meat and the police officer arrested him. We've had people who in the past have admitted to it. People currently still do admit to it. A guy told me, he said, you know what? He don't have any bycatch. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have any bycatch? Because he's like, whatever I catch, I eat. If I catch a stingray, I eat it. If I catch a manatee, I eat it. If I catch a turtle, I eat it. So he doesn't have a bycatch. So nets is an issue, and I believe that there's no sustainable measures or no sustainable adjustment, or there's nothing they can do to make it sustainable. It's just an unsustainable fishing gear. And I'm not saying, to hell with the guys that are using the net. like everybody else, I'm hoping to offer opportunities. Like for instance, in St. Bike, we're working with people that using it to try and get them to become tour guides through the BTB and through like organizations like the Harvest Key to provide employment for these guys. So it's not just giving you a certificate and walking away, but follow through to see. But we're just catering for people that are interested in becoming this, because I can't tell you to be a tour guide. The goal is to offer you an opportunity. What is it you want to become a sport fisherman? Then we'll see if we can offer opportunities for you. So it's not just taking your bread away and saying, you know what? But it's the sacrifice that we have to make for the livelihoods of the masses as opposed to just 20 or 30 licensed fishing gillet users.
I'm curious though, you know, when you say poaching, I have a different concept in my head. Elephants are poached for their husks. Lions are probably, or whatever other animal is because they have something.
Correct, they want.
But I'm thinking apart from food.
Exactly, it's food.
Why would you poach
it's
a manatee?
Is it meaty or just fat?
That's why I can't really understand.
And of all the different options, it's like Belize is not, I don't want to say any other country, but Belize is surely one of the places up there in terms of natural resources. If you want to find food in Belize,
exactly, food is not a problem.
Good gosh.
But people have to believe it's a traditional thing. People have to believe that manatees have 3 kinds of meat, which is the old thing that I've been hearing since I was a kid. Which, if you really think about it, is there any other animal on the planet that has 3 kinds of meat? It's just a myth. But there's no way.
So what you're saying, it's curiosity that they're checking if
no, people I spoke to people that genuinely believe so. But I've dealt with manatees before, the scientific.
So go buy 3 kinds of meat. Belize has all of those kinds of meat.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
For cheaper and less risk of going to jail.
Exactly. That is my point.
Sense.
That is my point. But if people are stuck in these ways,
yeah,
and I'm hoping to bring awareness to them, I'm hoping to change their mentality.
But just to be clear, is it deliberate poaching of manatees or bycatch? Because that's, I mean, there's a difference if I set out a gill net to catch a manatee or if I set out a gill net and happen to catch a manatee. It's
2 of them. 2 of them. I think majority is bycatch, but there are individuals that still actually go out to catch manatee. If you're going to set a net where you know manatees live, if a manatee get entangled in your net, it's going to drown. Or it's going to destroy your net if it gets in there.
But then there has to be a market for it.
There is a market for it. In Corozal, there was a fisherman selling manatee meat as pork meat. You ever hear a fisherman selling pork meat?
Wow.
He one point he was fronting it as grouper. I'd never seen grouper the levels of fat that manatees have, and a guy actually bought it from him and sent this to us so we can look at it, and it turned out to be manatee as well. So people are actually selling this thing like publicly in front of your face.
But they're not selling it as manatee.
They're not selling it as manatee. But if you go to like maybe perhaps one of the people that has that desire to have those animals such as manatee, and you say manatee, the price of it eventually will go up because it's something more
exotic.
Yeah. So, but there is a market for it, and also in places like Honduras and Guatemala. I've gotten reports that Honduranians and Guatemalans are in our waterways poaching manatees, taking them back to for sale in their market.
So what you're saying is, while some of us look at the images of the manatee and say how cute and how important to protect, there still are some who don't necessarily buy into the need for conservation, which means that your work definitely continues. Yeah. Jamaal, talk to us about being able to get the support. We know the Cocktail for the Manatees is your signature fundraiser. How much have you found other people coming on board to show you the support that you need to continue your work?
Every year the Cocktails for the Manatees become larger in terms of people that are sponsoring, donating, some people that I haven't even reached out to, they saw the ad or saw the flyer and they call, hey, I want to donate a gift certificate or I want to be a part of this. So it shows me that people are actually really interested in getting something done and being a part of something that they feel is important to Belize and to Belizean. I feel over the years it has grown. Not just not just in the fundraising, but people are interested in volunteering. For instance, one of the biggest supporters right now in terms of gathering donation is Miss Beverly Burke. That lady has been calling high and low, reaching people even after you say no, calling you again to remind you and ask you over and over. Yeah. And it just shows these are individual efforts. People that are not involved in Manatee, they don't work in the line of field, they're not even in conservation, but they care about being a part of something that belongs to Belize, being a part of an effort that actually contributes to the environment and to Belize's economy.
What will the funds from this fundraiser go towards?
This year, the funds from the fundraiser will go towards specifically addressing issues in Placencia, installing more signage in Placencia, hoping to add towards the surveillance, with the wildlife camera, the camera traps, so we can document issues. Doing more patrols to ensure that people are abiding to the regulations, and also addressing issues such as bringing more awareness to tour guides, getting people that are involved in gill net using to provide alternative livelihoods to them, whether it's opportunity of getting their tour guide license, and a bunch of other activities, including awareness in schools and boost awareness countrywide as well.
Have you ever attempted, because I'm thinking of the tour guide scenario, right? Have you ever attempted to make contact with the cruise lines themselves so that a part of their, I mean, when you're on a cruise, you have your TV channel and you get all this information while you're there before you go to the, yeah.
We've tried, for years we've tried the cruise tourism in Belize City and have been very unsuccessful.
Yeah.
But I must say in Placencia with Norwegian Cruise Line, they have been very, very, very helpful in terms of getting the message to tourists on the boat and on the island.
Before they come off.
Yeah, so they have been partnership with us in terms of, this year they actually funded 2 tags to tag Manatees in Placencia to see how the Manatees in Placencia are using the areas, and for them to change their operations. If they're seeing that Manatees are within their boating channel or where they are moving, they're more alert, more cautious.
Okay.
So they've done a real good job. They've installed their own signage in the areas that they are traveling. They've changed their boating routes. They've changed their boating speeds. So in Placencia, Norwegian Cruise Line has been very helpful. But in Belize, over the years, we've had not even a response on the cruise companies in Belize. I'm not quite sure. We've tried sending message to the corporate offices like we did in case of Norwegian. We got no response. I'm not sure as to why. I feel like they don't feel the blame goes directly to them. It's more as a local tour issue.
What impact would it have if you had their cooperation?
They would be able to bring the message to the tour guide, to the tourists on the boat before they even get on the boat. You know, you're going to Belize. These are some of the things you may come across, and these are some of the issues.
Do you think that would make a 10% increase?
It will definitely change people's behavior, because
50%?
I think it will make a greater percentage increase, because I realize that a lot of people come to Belize, they don't know the laws and regulations.
They don't know anything. Yeah.
They don't know that you can't feed a manatee in Belize. They don't know that you can't speed in the river. They don't know these things. So they're thinking, okay, I'm having a jolly good time. I'm coming close to a manatee, I get to touch a snake, I get to do... They don't know that you're not supposed to be doing those things, because they won't be doing it. I'm pretty sure they'll have a couple that will so venture into want to do the illegal stuff. But the majority will be like, oh, I don't want to...
Have you asked BTB perhaps to be your ally in getting the message out to the cruise lines?
I can't say specifically ask them to target the cruise line, but we've worked with them with the registered tour operators with them. Okay. But that is a good point in terms of, I'm pretty sure they have the voice and the communication with these guys.
Well, I'm sure you'll have BTB representatives at the cocktails to the Manatee. You can bring it up
there,
right?
Definitely.
Let's talk about the fundraiser before we run out of time. So here's the thing about your cocktail for the Manatees. It's an auction, and you always have the most amazing prizes. Tell me, you think I'm joking? Wait. Tell me.
Yeah, we have so much different prizes this year. Like I mentioned, we have so many new people, new sponsors. We have the usual, like for instance, Cave Branch is always coming to support the Manatees in many different ways. One night stay in the river house for 5 people, so you and your crew can go. And it comes with breakfast and dinner as well.
And it's the tree house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the top of the line. So these places are not just offering their mediocre, their smaller rooms or whatever to us. Blanconologist, this is a new sponsor as well. You have people like Chocolate that continues to offer opportunities. Ramon's in San Pedro, Mahogany Bay in San Pedro. The Elysian, Naya Resort. All of these
those
people.
Those prizes come at 10 of your friends.
You can go to Belikin Factory.
Is that all you can drink too?
Well, I don't think you can drink all of Belikin's beer, but a tour of the Belikin Factory with 10 of your friends, and you get a sample, and whatever it is that you like the most, you get to drink for the 10 that you're there.
When
so
is
it's like
this
a small party. It's Saturday, February 16th. La Tarneza's 2-night stay in their junior suite. And it goes on and on. Like I tell you, Viva Belize, you can stay in one of their collection of hotels, whether it's
like
Sleeping Giant. The weekend stay at Array Key and Hajek Key.
For 2. Yeah,
for 2. Yeah. You and your wife or your fiance, your girlfriend, your buddy or best friends, I don't know what. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity. Flight from Tropic Air. Can also do a Manatee tour, come in lunch and beer. Different tours to different places as well.
Keep them coming. I want to see more. Let's go. Let's go. We got to know what we're going to bid. I'm going to tell Kevin to bid on.
Oh, no,
this is what I was looking
this
forward
partnership
to.
we've started with Twig and Pearl. With their signature bag, they're imprinted Manatee burn on them. This is the first of its kind that's going to be auctioned at the fundraiser. But she's going to start a line of it to sell after the fundraiser, which a donation, a proceed of whatever you pay for it goes towards the conservation effort as well.
Love it.
So she's using, it's not just fashion, she's using the fashion to tell a conservation story. Fashion with meaning, they call it.
Yeah, awesome.
So
what's the top prize? What would you want to win if you were there? I'm really putting you in a spot with your sponsors.
A couple of years ago, they had a painting, a Manatee painting that I wish I could have. I don't bid and stuff. I don't get to enjoy that bid and stuff. So they had a Manatee painting that was a hot sale, and people like, for instance, JC from Tropic, he was standing there the entire time. If you bid, he bid behind you. And he's like, don't bid because I'm going to bid behind you. And he stayed there, and he's like, he's reminding me that the auction is closed. You should close the auction. I wanted that painting as well, and the guy had the audacity to go home and take a picture of the painting on his wall and send it to me. And he's like, you have a picture of my painting? I'm like,
who was the artist?
This guy Jose from Boeing and Boeing. He actually works here, and I surely had asked him to, can you paint a Manatee? And I thought it was going to be a little.
Wow.
And when I saw this painting, I'm like, you painted this?
You have to get that guy Stan Curtis one. He does some great paintings.
He does really good job, and the list goes on in terms of sponsors. Like I mentioned, we've had places like Kana. We've have Maya Beach and Bistro.
Ooh.
We've have so much I can't even there's so much on my mind.
Yeah, and it's like all the top destinations and top restaurants and great packages.
Correct. We have people like Berzella always offer their in terms of a dinner for two, the Radisson, the Biltmore Plaza. Manatee Lookout, who's always on board as well.
So how does it work? What do I have to do? I mean,
there will be a live auction where you get to go and say, $20, and you get who bids the highest win it. Those items are going to be live auction, and there will be a silent auction where there will be a paper on a table with the item, describing the item, and you go and write your name, your number, and your bidding. End of the night, whoever has the highest bidding
when it
closes. So usually people are targeting specific things, and they'll hang around waiting, and if you go and bid on their stuff, they'll bid after you.
Yeah.
And end of the night, at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, we pull away all the items, and we'll go over it and say, okay, Marlene, you won the 2-night stay at Elysian or the Chalk Creek, and so that's how it works.
Nice.
And we a lot of stuff we raffle as well, so you get to win a door prize and a ticket that you come into, and we're giving away 60 beer for the first 60 individuals, or 60 rum punch for the first 60 individuals.
Nice.
And I had to mention these corporate sponsors like Bellikin, BC Travelers, Whatnot Design. These people are on board every single year. I don't even have to remind them or call them. Like many of the flyers that you've seen, some of these people are every year, like Naya Resort, the Elysian, Chalk Creek. It's out at the Belize Zoo. It's almost like automatic. They look forward to assisting. They look forward to supporting.
I saw Doofy Eunice.
Correct. He's in one of the pictures, I think.
The ticket, what does it come? I mean, is it just an entrance into the cocktail?
$30 is for an entrance into the cocktail. I have to mention we also have a live band this year. We have Super Fura.
Oh.
$30 into it, and if you come early enough, you get to have a free beer or a free cocktail. And also you get to go into the door prize, which is like a flight on Tropic Air to anywhere within Belize City and Tropic Air. So there are different door prizes that will be offered within the country of Belize.
That's a very short flight.
Within the country of Belize, sorry. And so and you get to be in part of some of the raffles that we're going to be drawing throughout the night, whether it could be a stay at one of those places. So
and you have Valentine's giveaway?
There will be.
That's why. I mean, overnight stay at Chalk
Correct.
Creek.
You come and you win your Valentine's getaway for you and your wife.
So you can tell your partner, listen, we are postponed Valentine's for the 14th. We're going at this thing. If we win,
we're going to spend the real Valentine's.
That means wifey will camp out at the auction.
Correct.
I'm terrible. I always lose because I forget to go back and check if anybody did after me. But I mean, that's the fun behind it.
Correct. So you're contributing to a conservation cause. You're taking a steal, and you're having a good time. I mean, Super Fura isn't a light band, and we have food and drinks on sale as well. It is a night of fun, laughter. People often look forward to it.
Who are you targeting? Is it the rich and famous, or
anybody that wants to come and support, we're targeting. It's not for any specific person. People say fundraiser anything that for rich people.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
It's not $100 ticket.
Exactly, $30.
Yeah.
You come and you drink 6 beer, you contribute to the cause. Yeah. So however you could contribute, you come and you drink 1 beer. That 1 beer more that would sell. So it's for anybody. So side, north side, mid side. There's no side. You know when you look at conservation, there's no
You can pull
class.
your Gales Point crew out.
Yeah, they're always there. They'll be there. I mean, when it comes to conservation, you can't separate conservation into class. A person once told me conservation is a rich man's job. I never understand what he said, what he meant by it. But conservation to me and the masses, everybody that has something to do with it, impacting this issue, should be a part of the effort. So anybody and everybody, the dress code is relaxed, just so you feel comfortable. You don't
bring
need
a
high
dancing
heel
shoes.
Yeah, you definitely need to bring a dancing shoes. But if you choose to
Or
dance
kick them
barefoot,
off.
we can accommodate anybody. If you need a date and not have a date, we'll provide one for you.
what?
Yes, man.
That kind of party?
Yes,
Okay,
man.
so where do people get tickets?
You can get tickets at iCandy Boutique at Bark Road, and you can call my number 615-3838, and we'll have them delivered to you as well.
Okay. Jamal, thank you so much for coming in.
No problem.
We wish you
Thank
the
for
best
having
of
us.
luck. The fundraiser at the Cocktails for the Manatee takes place this weekend, this Saturday, and it's going to be at the Old Belize
Pavilion.
So do pick up your ticket, go bid on some great giveaways, and you never know, you might have your late Valentine gift or just a surprise for yourself too.
Correct.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show in just a few, so we'll be back after a quick break.